Little studio on this tiny little Greek island. It's cloudy today, kind of dark, windy. We have a southern wind. When we get southern winds, that means there's no ferry boats. That means everything just shuts down. It's the southern winds. You can't have a fire in the fireplace or put wood in the wood stove. It will smoke up the entire house. These southern winds that force all the fishermen out there to stay home and not push out into the sea to catch fish, uh, to work their livelihood, to you know, things, at least in my life, change in the southern winds. Usually we don't get southern winds very often, but this is the time where they will begin, maybe about 5 or 6 times throughout the entire winter. In the summertime, we don't get them. The good thing about the southern winds is that it brings warmth. And that's always nice in winter when you have some nice warm days. And so that's the feel on the island today. And I just woke up a little bit ago and thinking about the change in the weather and how, it doesn't happen very often, but enough so that you know what it is and what's going on when the weather changes, and kind of moving that into habit number 4, which is about loving your failures. And it's about coming to know and allowing and loving the times when your paintings just don't go so well, or whatever you do in your life just doesn't go so well. And it's the flip side, it's the alteration of the normalcy of your life, right? And like the southern winds, they just come in. You can kind of see they're coming, just like you can when you're painting. You can kind of see that this painting isn't going the way I wanted it to. And then it hits, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. If you're a fisherman, you cannot go out fishing. You cannot, you have to pause and rest and take care of other things while the southern winds are coming in to the island. And it's the same thing when we mess up a painting, right? You have to step back and, okay, you're in this brief period. It's not going to take you days like it does here. It's a brief period where you have to, you're kind of put in a different state. You're not in your, oh, this is a great painting. I love what's going on with this one. I'm pretty happy about this one here. And I'm not at all in that state of failure that this is not working out. I can't figure it out. It's a bad painting. I can't get it right. I just messed up my colors. What do I do about that? That background tree line, and it's all working, which is great. So I'm in a different kind of weather pattern in my studio today. And it's not the wild southern winds that are coming in and just going, me and my mind and my strange little connections that I make. But there it is, right? So loving the failures, how cool is that, right? To say, okay, the southern wind has come. We can't go out fishing. It's not a whole lot. We can't light fires in the fireplace or in the wood stove. We can't do those things. So, what can we do? And the you embrace the alternatives. God, this really is probably a very weak example, but you turn on the central heating in the house, and I love the fires. I love the old, woods. I love the wood stove. I love it. And you turn on the central heating or the boiler. That would be it here, and it's fine. You have your heat, but it's not a fire in the fireplace, and it's not my normalcy. The things that I prefer in my day. Big deal, right? I mean, it is highly insignificant as an example, but you can take it and put it into what works for you. So the habit of pushing a little bit beyond your boundaries, which has nothing to do with the weather, obviously, but the habit of pushing a little bit beyond your boundaries will give you the space. The new experience will give you the information that you need as a creative being to move forward, so that the next time you're painting something and the same type of situation begins to happen, it's a little bit different. You have a better handle on it. You have experience behind it. That is the cool thing. That is the important part of developing as an artist. And okay, this is not like, organize your studio and, keep consistent hours and things like that. This is a part of practice, of actually painting, of actually doing what it is that you love to do in your creative tiny little studio, and embracing all the elements of it. And when you embrace the failures, you will move far. You will go so far, not only in how you paint, not only in the way you mix your colors, the trying out, like putting on a brand new color on your palette that you never used before, and you don't know how it's going to work in your painting, and you just might mess up the painting, and you might, right? But when you do it, you have that experience. You get the knowledge of how this new color works with the other colors. Didn't work in that painting, but let's try another one. And just opening, just keep pushing those boundaries open is an essential habit to develop. Loving your failures is an essential habit to embrace. And maybe for me, it is, I struggled with putting it as my number 5 habit. It's just that the number 5 habit is inconspicuous in many, many ways, but is the very thin sheet that holds it all together. Your whole creativity, everything, it holds it all together. But embracing your failures is the most powerful, the most dynamic thing you can do as an artist. And oh my goodness, as a human being, no matter what you do in your life, no matter how you go about it, it's openly in the light, looking at where you messed up here, what you didn't do well, what isn't working. It's not always what you did wrong. It's like this thing happened and I messed up, okay, because I don't have the experience of using this, you know, fuchsia pink color on your palette, for example. And it's a matter of honing in and taming the wildness of the unknowing, and just you begin to, mold it like a wild, a ball of clay, a big chunk of clay or marble, and you're just kind of like chipping away and you're beginning to understand what's inside for you to hold on to. So that's those are my thoughts this morning because of the weather. It's not crazy windy yet. It's hardly at all yet, but it will be later on today. You can tell the weather changes. The air gets heavier, a lot of moisture in the air. It gets warmer, and then the winds start blowing, and life changes temporarily. And you have to adjust, accept, allow. You got to allow the weather to happen. You can't do anything about it anyways, right? But you can adjust and allow and learn and grow from a tiny little thing like the weather. You want something even tinier? You want something even tinier? Here, you're going to laugh at this one, but this morning I put on these funky, more, you know, kind of crazy earrings that I never wear, but I have them. And sometimes I put them on to shake up the look and the feel that I have. And you think that's crazy. That's weird. There's so many people out there who just cannot relate to this, and I get it. I get it. But some of you can. If you're the type that can go into your closet and change clothes 5 times before you decide what to put on, it's it's not so much vanity. It's not so much a vanity thing. It's more like finding the right combination that makes you feel a certain way. And when I put on like these earrings, which I wore when I was like, in my 40s, never even thought about it. And I just kind of stopped wearing them the older I got. And sometimes I put them back on just for the change, just for that new color on my clothing palette, right? Or something that just kind of changes it a little bit. And it is so tiny. Yes, it's insignificant completely. Maybe doesn't make sense to a lot of you out there, but it's that push towards being slightly uncomfortable, just slightly uncomfortable. And I have learned here on this tiny little Greek island, through COVID times, through the sinking of our fishing boat, through the inability to live the way that I used to live, by really focusing on what I have here and finding things that are not so obvious or evident, like this little earring trick, right? It's not obvious. It's not evident. Nobody looking at me would think, oh, she is testing her boundaries in, in her earring selection today. I hope you're laughing out there. But again, it is a very tiny, minimal example of just a little tick, pushing a little bit beyond what I normally do, because normalcy, keeping everything the way it is, staying in comfort all the time, uh, isn't quite a good thing. And if you do that while you're painting, you're really not going to get very far. So that's why this habit, this number 4 habit of loving your failures, embracing the failures, and trying new things, just pushing beyond your boundaries, is so, so, so deeply important. And it takes a little work to begin to allow yourself to mess up and be comfortable with it. It's one reason with this YouTube channel really helped me with that, because in the beginning it was failed video after failed video. They were all bad, and as they should be, and as they are for everybody who's starting a YouTube channel, or nearly everybody. I suppose there are those film people out there who know what they're doing. I'm obviously not one of them. So that has been a great example, like changing up my earrings, of really pushing beyond my boundaries to reach a higher level. And same thing with your paintings, you guys. So I'm going to sign off and get back to my painting. I'm really enjoying this one. I really am. Things are just pulling together, and hopefully, hopefully it will not be one of those failed paintings. I don't think so. You can kind of tell when a painting's not going to work out pretty much from the beginning, or pretty close, like after the first layer, and you can tell. This one doesn't have that feeling about it. So, but who knows? Who knows? Could be a southern wind coming into the studio as well. We shall see. So you guys have a beautiful day. Be inspired, be creative, be you, and I'll see you tomorrow. If we have internet. If we've got really bad weather, might not work, but yeah, well, it is what it is. Take care.